Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you to the live webinar session organized by Aviation DG Training School. Uh, this webinar, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Hassan Raza Dharsi, and I am the trainer and course deliverer or course instructor for Aviation plus DG Training School. Um, the webinar, this webinar is based on the latest edition of IATA DGR, which is 66th edition, and which will be applicable from 2025 onwards. So here we would discuss the changes and amendment which have been done this year and which will be applicable from 2025 onwards. So let's start with our session, the latest changes and amendment and this. Okay, so here are the significant changes and amendment in the 66th edition of IATA DGR, which will be applicable from 2025. So the 66th edition of IATA Dangerous Goods Regulation incorporates all the amendment made by the International Civil Aviation Organization Dangerous Good Panel in developing the content of the 2025 and 2026 edition of ICAO Technical Instruction. As you all know, since the beginning and since overall, I would have been saying this thing that ICAO is the basis of ICAO. ICAO is the basis of IATA DGR, and every standard is set by the ICAO Dangerous Goods Board, and which is applicable on dangerous good regulation in IATA DGR. So anything that has been done, any amendment or any changes done by the ICAO Technical Instruction and the Dangerous Good Panel of the International Civil Aviation Organization is included in this Dangerous Good Regulation, uh, and it is part of our core book, which is the latest edition. So coming up to the applicability part. So coming up to the applicability part, which is our section 1, as we know that the book is divided into 10 different sections, and after these sections there are after these sections there are appendices, appendix A, appendix B, appendix C, appendix D, and other appendix E, appendix F, and etc, etc. So coming back to the changes which we were discussing, starting from the very important and very the the important section is section 1, applicability. So there's a change in 1.2.7 in exceptions, where they have mentioned that the data logger which we use for the transportation to and there's a provision which has been made in 1.2.7 for the data logger and the cargo tracking devices which are in use or intended to be used during the transport. Active devices with batteries not conforming in 1.2.7, and data loggers or cargo tracking devices which are not being used for the purpose of monitoring cargo be continued. That means they have allowed to be continued or to be used for further time to be shipped under the relevant provision for equipment containing lithium batteries. So as you know, these things carry lithium battery, but it is the provision has allowed, this exception has allowed us to use these provisions. Further, coming back to the section 2 limitation. Section 2 is for the limitation. If you go with the whole section of the book, it has section 1 applicability, section 2 limitation. So in 2.3, dangerous good carried by passenger and crew. So the first thing, the provision for battery powered mobility aid and the guidance on the end-to-end process associated with the carriage of the mobility aid has been updated. So before things were different. Now the mobility aid, which we say the wheelchairs and the self-propelled wheelchairs, which come under the head of mobility aid, and the battery-powered mobility aids have been changed and updated. In this edition, you will see the latest and updated version of the lithium battery and how to carry it in passenger and crew baggage. Secondly, the note is added in 2.3.2.4.3 to clarify that where a lithium-ion battery remains installed in the mobility aid, there is no watt-hour limit. Before, there was a watt-hour limit, like 100. The maximum watt-hour limit is 100, or it was somewhere around 160. But right now, they have like ended this part, and now there is no such thing known as watt per, or there's no such limit that is making these constraints for the watt per hour. So the provision of 9.1.1 requirement for the safety risk assessment and 1.4.2.2 recommendation with the respect to approval of the dangerous good carried by passenger and crew remain unchanged. So the changes which we are discussing here, like the provisions, have been unchanged here. Further, in 2.8.1 and 2.8.3, there's an addition of new what we say state and operator variations, in 2.8.1, Canada, Chile, Belarus have added or included more variations in the section of state variations. And coming up to 2.8.3, some of the carriers has made changes, like they have some of them revised, like Air Zimbabwe, Plus Ultra, Linus, Arius, Tag, Angola Airline, and significant changes to the variation submitted by Envelope Airways, Tijan Airways, Air Serbia, Lufthansa, Swiss International, and amended variation for existing operation as identified by the applicable revision mark. Then we have the section of classification. Classification section is based on the 9 hazard classes. So in 3.1.1.2 has been amended to align with the definition and classification in the UN model regulation. Corresponding term have been removed from the glossary in Appendix A. Then we have the term metal powder aligned with the UN classification. Then solid which may cause fire through friction. These are the amendments and the changes. And the new addition, the indication list of category A pathogen has been amendment to show monkeypox virus as being category A when in culture form only. The World Health Organization now refers monkeypox virus as mpox. So before it might be not be there, but the category A, which is considered to be when we come to 6.1, 6.2, which is infectious substance. Infectious substance has two we say categories. Category A that kills human or animal, and then there's a category B that does not fall under the definition of category A. So here There's a change. WHO, World Health Organization, has added mpox, monkeypox, and which come under the virus as being in category A when it is in culture form only. When it is not in culture form, it will not come in category. Okay. Then 3.9.2.5.5, the exception. 3.9 refers to the exception for COVID-19 vaccines from the provision of the regulation has been modified to now apply to all pharmaceutical products, such as vaccines that are packed in the form ready to be administered, included those in clinical trials. So this exception has also been modified here. Before it was for only COVID-19, but now it is, or it will be used for every vaccine which will be transported for the purpose of research or clinical trials. Then in 3.9.2.7 includes the classification criteria for sodium ion batteries. Before there was lithium batteries, but now now the sodium ion batteries has also been part of the game. Moving forth for the identification part. So identification is the topic where we use where we identify the name, the proper shipping name, then the UN number, and everything related to the proper shipping name. What is that DG? So coming to that identification part, list of dangerous goods. Okay, so the amendments to the list of dangerous goods include the following new entries. Like before, these entries were not the part, but now they have been entered in the book, like UN 1514, fire suppressing depressing devices of 1.4s, UN 3559, fire suppress depressing devices class 9. Then gallium contained in manufactured articles, sodium ion batteries contained in equipment, sodium ion batteries packed with equipment. Okay, so before like till last year, these sodium ion batteries were not part of the book, but in the latest edition of IATA DGR, which will be the 66th edition and which will be applicable from the 1st January, you will see the new UN number, which is 3551, 3552, 3552 for sodium ion batteries contained in equipment, packed with equipment, and then 3556 vehicle lithium ion battery powered, 3557 vehicle lithium metal battery powered, and 3558 vehicles sodium ion battery powered. So before, lithium was the only the battery which was in class 9. Now the sodium battery has also been part of this new section, or this new section in the latest edition of IATA. Now coming up to the special provision part. So the amendment to the special provision include A40 to expand the application of the liquid desanitized explosive in class 3. Then there's A69 to include reference to gallium. Then there's A88, A99, A146, A154 to apply to sodium ion batteries. Now, we have to be very much cautious when using sodium ion batteries, because these new special provisions would be applicable on sodium ion batteries. So before operating sodium ion batteries, we must have this arrangement, or we must look for the special provision, we must follow column M of the blue pages, and go through them so that we can choose the right special provision and apply them accordingly to the regulation. Coming up to the A107 to permit apparatus, articles, or equipment contain dangerous good to contain up to 5 liter and or 5 kg of environmental hazard substance. A144 to make clear that the appropriate aircraft limitation in passenger and cargo aircraft when the special provision is being exercised. Okay, so they have now given the appropriate aircraft limitation in A144 for passenger and cargo both, A185 and 214 to incorporate references and requirement for the new entries of vehicle powered by lithium ion, lithium metal batteries, and sodium ion batteries, and A190 to clarify that the special provision A2 does not apply to neutron radiation detectors shipped in according with A190. This is very important because A2 applies to all those shipments or all those which requires which is prohibited and which is not allowed in either in cargo aircraft or in passenger aircraft. But if you take the approval from the state of origin and state of operator, you can transport with that shipment in with reference to the written approval which you have taken from the state of origin, state of uh, operator. Now, coming back to the neutron radiation detector, you cannot ship it or it does not apply in A1 as A190 codes. New special provision included. Okay, so these special provisions were not part of the last edition, like the current edition which we are going through. Like A226 permitted the continuation of the term detonator electric until 30th June 2025. A228 clarified the classification differences between sodium ion cells and batteries with an electrolyte and those batteries with an aqueous alkaline electrolyte. A230 excludes nitrocellulose membrane filter manufactured to a particular standard from the provision of the dangerous good regulation. A231 exclude the vehicle powered by sodium ion batteries from the provision of the dangerous good regulation, provided there are no other dangerous goods which are subject to the regulation and the battery is short circuit to reduce the change in the battery to zero. A232 assists the classification of fire suppressant dispersing devices between device 1.4S and class 9, and A233 assists the classification of tetramethyl ammonium hydroxide. Okay, so this whole section was based on classification. Now coming back to section 5, which is packing, and which look after how to do the packing. So 5.2.0.8 is the packing instruction is amended with regard to the protecting the wall of the cylinders and closing cryogenic receptacle, including the reference to design the standard for shrouds, permanent protective attachment and wall for non-refillable cylinders. Then we have 5.2.0.11, including classification when calculating the Q value, that the quantities from the relevant packing instruction are to be consistent with regard to the intended aircraft type. Okay, then the packing instruction 200, 202, and 218. As we know that packing instruction 200 onwards are for the gases. So these three are meant to be for gases. Okay, so have had minor update to be consistent with the formation. Table 200B has been modified for UN 1010 butadiene and hydrocarbon mixture stabilized. Then we have packing 372, which is for flammable liquids, relates to the UN 3165 aircraft hydraulic power unit fuel tank and had been modified to reflect the relevant general requirement that must be met. Then again, packing instruction 378, packing instruction 492, packing instruction 950 and 951 have been revised. Okay. Further, if you move on, packing section 650, the language regarding the capability of passing 1.2 meter drop test has been modified to remain consistent with the UN, having regard to patient confidentiality. Provision has been made for alternative means of providing the name and address of the shipper and consignee. Packing section 866 has been amended to clearly require the packaging must meet the packing group 2 performance standard. Then package section 869 has been broadened to include 355 like gallium contained in the manufactured article. We have just discussed gallium has been entered and in the name of in section 4. So with reference to gallium, its package section has also been broadened up. Then we have package section 952, which has been amended to encompasses like 35 3557 and 3558 for vehicle lithium ion battery powered, vehicle lithium metal uh, battery powered, and vehicle sodium battery powered. For 1st January till 31st December 2025, it is recommended that the battery are at a state of charge not exceeding 30% or have an indicated battery capacity not exceeding 25%. Now, this is very important, and whenever we are transporting battery, we must guide our shipper about this thing in near future. After 31st December, these restrictions will become mandatory for vehicle with batteries that exceeded 100 watt. Like after 31st December, this will be mandatory. Moving forth, the packing instruction 955 has been amended to include UN 2990 and 3072 life-saving apparatus to provide for sodium ion batteries. Then coming up to the packing instruction 961 now includes the new 3559 fire suppressant dispersing devices. Then there's packing instruction 965 and packing instruction 966. Both packaging instructions have several notes added to reiterate that the batteries shipped at a reduced SOC are less prone to thermal runaway. The 30% SOC restriction on lithium batteries in packing instruction 965, which we just discussed on the upper part, will be extended in packing section 966 initially as a recommended in 2025 and becoming mandatory in 2026 for the battery with the watt hour rating greater than 2.7 watt hour. Provision has been made for state approval where the shipper wishes to offer these batteries for transport at an SOC rate greater than 30%. There will not be a provision to ship cells or batteries at a SOC greater than 30% under the section 2 of package section 960. These will have to be offered in accordance with section 1. Okay, coming up to the package section 967. Now these package instructions are like close related to the batteries, and you can see the terminology, all the terminologies are related to the batteries. Okay, package instruction 967 has been revised to introduce the recommendation that the batteries contained in equipment should not be offered with an SOC 30% or an indication battery capacity exceeding 25%. The 3 packing instruction for sodium ion batteries containing organic electrolyte journal mirror the respective lithium ion battery packing instruction. Packing instruction 976, UN 3551 sodium ion cells and batteries. Packing instruction 977, UN 3552 sodium ion batteries packed with equipment. UN packing instructions 978, UN 3552 sodium ion batteries containing equipment. Before, sodium ion battery was not part of our battery, and it was part in impending changes in amendment of section H. And before, the UN number and packing instructions were not clear. In this significant changes and amendment document, it is already clarified that the packing instruction for sodium ion and the UN number and the proper shipping name, all the 3 things have been predefined here. Moving forth, packaging specification performance test for the packaging specification performance test section 6 contains several amendments that align with the UN or rolling hoops for drums. 6.4 contain numerous update to the reference international standard for the construction and testing and cylinders and closed cryogenic receptacle. There are a number of notes included through the section 6 which make provision to continue using cylinder, etc., manufactured and marked in accordance with the section, in accordance with the 63rd edition of DGR. Then section 7 is marking, labeling, documentation, handling. So let's wind up things here. For marking, labeling, the lithium battery mark has been renamed as battery mark. Before it was lithium battery mark because with the addition of sodium battery, the mark has been make a battery mark. and it is not a lithium battery mark. The lithium battery label has been renamed as a lithium battery or sodium battery and battery label. Coming to the documentation, the note has been added regarding the transitional period of UN 317 battery powered vehicle to continue to include the vehicle powered by lithium battery until 31st March 2025. The note relating to the transition period until December 2024 for the dangerous goods statement on the airway bill has been removed. So before there was a statement, dangerous good as per attached shipper declaration has been removed from the latest edition, and now the statement which I can see is the statement will be dangerous good as per associated DGD or as per associated shipper declaration. Coming up to the Section 9 handling, Note 3 has been modified to clarify the operation made. Operators may develop and use their own checklist. Uh, Now, operator can also make their own checklist based on their requirement and their need. Table 93A and 9 table 91A and 95A have been modified to include the sodium ion either packed with or containing equipment in section 2. 9.3.11 has been modified to recommend caution when handling cryogenic liquid, especially during loading and unloading. Coming up to the section 10, radioactive material, 10.7.1.4 has been amended to reflect the marking of an overpack when carbon dioxide solid dry ice has been included in a consignment with material meeting the classification and transport requirement of section 10. Now, coming up to the appendices, Appendix A, there are many changes to the defined term shows in the glossary. Appendix B, the IAB code for ELI, RBI, RLI have been amended to also apply to sodium ion batteries. ELI was used for ELI, RBI, and RLI were used for batteries, lithium battery. Now they have been amended to be used for sodium ion batteries. Appendix C, there are addition to the list of currently assigned self-reactive substances on division 4.1 in table C1 and list of organic peroxide in in table C2. Appendix D, content details for competent authority have been updated, or contact details of the competent authority has been updated. Appendix E and have been modified to enable a more responsive approach to finding and listing particular product and service provider. So I think that's the end. I would recommend, if you have any question regarding significant changes amendment, you can get back to us, and we can continue anytime. Of all those who could not be part of this session and who wanted to join this session, they can view this session on YouTube. It will be available on Aviation DG School YouTube page. You can watch the video, and this video will be also available on our website, as well as this document. So don't forget to download this document, and don't forget to buy the latest edition of IATA DGR, which is 66th edition, and which will be applicable from 2025. Thank you so much. If you have any question regarding to the changes in the book, or regarding to anything based on IATA 66th edition, you can contact me or my school uh, anytime. For those who wants to get connected to me, you can connect to me anytime, sooner or later. Like I'm sharing the page. Here are the details of our school. You can contact us. So our website is there, a contact number is there. You can easily contact us if you have any questions related to dangerous good regulation. And for courses and other things, stay updated. You'll get notifications. Thank you for joining us. It was a great pleasure uh, talking to you on this webinar session. Thank you so much.